Quatermass II. It's meant to be hard to interpret, and that is exactly why I want to talk about it. This is the decline and fall of British sci-fi, and like everything else on this channel, this is just my personal view. If you've got a different take on this film, drop it in the comments section, because I genuinely love to hear it. Quatermass II came out in 1957, and it was directed by Val Guest, written by Nigel Kneale, and starred Brian Donlevy, reviving his role as Professor Bernard Quatermass. It's the sequel to the Quatermass experiment, and is an adaptation of Kneale's earlier BBC television serial. The film was made by Hammer Studios on a modest budget, around 90 odd grand, but like most British sci-fi from that period, it manages to punch well above its weight. Donlevy's interpretation of the character, though, is a little bit controversial. That is, in comparison to the original, more thoughtful and intellectual portrayal found in the BBC serials. But I've got to be honest, because for a man of his age, I really admire Donlevy's energy. He's no pencil-neck scientist, he's a man of action. And I like that in this version of the character. I began this video with the very bold statement that Quatermass II is hard to interpret, and that it's actually meant to be hard to interpret. So there is an interpretation of it out there. It's the mainstream interpretation of it. It's the one most people agree on. It's the vanilla interpretation, if you like. Critics and fans of Quatermass II alike consider this film to be a warning about the rise of fascism, a story about how fragile democracy actually is, and about how easily it is subverted by authoritarianism. And you know what? That is a solid argument. You've got this shadowy government project in the countryside, a secret facility guarded by gunmen, a village full of people that have either been replaced or corrupted, that turn violent when the truth is questioned. They're organised, controlled, they're obedient. It all feels very fascistic, especially when you see just how quickly ordinary people start cooperating with it, all for money, safety, and a sense of order. So yes, that is a very strong take. But let me tell you about mine, because this film ain't just about fascism. The alien threat isn't a metaphor for fascism in the classic sense. It's about something deeper, something even more British in its horror. Quatermass II is about Britain's pursuit of nuclear weapons. No matter the danger, no matter the cost, no matter how many people's lives get trampled underfoot. Let me begin my argument though by talking about the meteorites. And look at the way those meteorites literally fall out of the sky, like mutating anybody that touches them. That's not a subtle image. That's nuclear fallout. That's the real fear of the nuclear age, that death can fall from the sky. It can burn your skin, rot your body. It can mutate you into something unrecognisable. It's Hiroshima, it's Windscale, it's every British bomb test we conducted that scattered contamination across land we pretended was empty. And look at the government response in this film as well. It's complete secrecy. Armed guards, men disappearing, whole villages flattened, erased, and papered over with bureaucratic lies. That's not dystopian sci-fi. That's public memory of real-life events, like the forced relocation of entire populations, all in the name of weapons testing. The villagers in this film as well are a romanticised version of the real-life British public. They are cheerful, simple folk, told to keep quiet while something monstrous is being built in their backyard, and they go along with it purely because they've been told, well, it's necessary. The argument is always about necessity. So in this film, they cover up their actions by saying that they're only making synthetic food in this factory. I think that's a swipe, maybe even a satirical one, at the way this technology was sold to the public. Clean energy, they promise. Cheap energy, they promise. But the truth is that this technology that can give you a warm kettle can also give you a crater where your house used to be. And in this film, those domes aren't about feeding the people, they're about feeding the monster. The monster in this case is the British bomb programme. And that monster, once it's born, cannot be stopped. Even Quatermass, the man of reason, the man of action, says that if this thing escapes, we'll have no control over it. That's the fear at the heart of this story. Not that we'll be conquered, it's that we'd willingly build the thing that could destroy us. This film is full of subtle little hints at this. Even the weapons that those fascistic little guards are carrying. That's a sly wink to the audience to let them know exactly where all of this came from. And finally, there's the ending. Those final images of those monstrous forms towering above the factory, looking like headless mushroom clouds, followed by a blast wave that washes over Quatermass. That's not science fiction, that's prophecy. So, what do you think? Is Quatermass simply about fascism? Or is it indeed about something worse than that? Is it about Cold War paranoia? Or is it about the lengths that democracies go to protect themselves? Let me know in the comments section what you think. You could also like and subscribe to the channel if you really enjoy my videos. And if you've got any mates that like this sort of thing, you can also recommend the channel to them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and please remember that this is just my personal view.
So brace for the final descent. The skies, they scream with dissent.